Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Happy
Good
Wednesday.
afternoon. Yes,
Happy Wednesday, world.
Here we are again.
Oh, we look better there than there.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
It
well, whatever.
is
We
what
are
it
who we
is.
are.
I know. It's Wednesday.
And we're twinning. Look at us. We're twinning.
I know. We actually do that often.
Yes, we do. It's because we're like-minded.
We live on the same frequency.
Yeah.
So, gosh, it's been a big, like, this is my Monday at school because I've been out at a conference learning, having my mind completely blown up, which is really, really exciting.
Awesome. Yeah.
I won't even try to unpack for you the conference because I feel like I need days to unpack it for myself.
But what I love is that you're always learning and growing and going to these things to improve and learn more and expand.
Yeah.
Which is good for all of us.
Really. Yeah. No, it is.
We all benefit from it. So
we do, don't we? Yeah. Don't we? But right now it was like so challenging and disruptive of my thinking that I just need to pause before I start talking about it to make sure how I think about it.
Okay.
Anyway, so today's really cold.
I'm freezing. I have our heat turned on to like 95 degrees. So I had to turn it down because
I may have to start taking
she'll have hot
my clothes off. Rochelle and I, we don't do well in the same space together for very long because she
not when it comes to temperature.
Yeah, she likes the 90 degrees and I like it cool.
Yes.
So anyway, today we are talking about parenting by principle. Oh, and I forgot to write this. Today we're talking about parenting by principles rather than reactive parenting.
Yes.
It's interesting because even though, again, this is Rochelle Linenberger, I'm Angie Taylor. We've been in education for 20 plus years and have also raised children of our own. And so that's our passion to come on to online to just try to start talking about some of the things that we've learned over the years as both parents and as educators that might save you.
Hopefully.
Save you some pain. And this one is a really big one. The idea of parenting by principles rather than reactive parenting. And this is really important that you've actually thought about this. Yeah, right? Sure. I actually got a phone call from one of my adult children, which you still parent when your kids are adults.
It's true. It never stops. Never.
But I would tell you how you parented when they were young, you start seeing the results of that as adults. Sometimes that's an awesome thing, and other times you're like, oops.
Not so much.
I'm sure I have gone back to both my kids and went, I'm sorry. Anyway, I actually got a phone call from one of my children, and in the conversation, they were asking me about a particular situation. Now, I'm not going to lie, as a mommy, in this, my mama's heart, in this particular conversation that we were having, right, I, like, every part of me wanted to tell my child, that's ridiculous. You stick it to that person. You just like, that's, they did what to you? They treated you like that? That's like the most ridiculous thing in the world. You do not deserve to be treated like that.
Yeah.
That was what my mama's heart was like screaming because it's that protective, that I want my child to have what they want feeling.
Yeah, it's true.
Fortunately, last night, my mama's heart allowed my other brain, which I was really excited, to step in.
Good.
I actually said, gosh, I can completely understand why this is frustrated. I think it's really important for our kids that they do know, man, we hear
you're listening,
we hear what you're saying.
You're empathetic.
You actually have, like, we can understand why you would feel frustrated by that.
Yeah.
So I expressed that I definitely understand why I can feel your frustration. Let's talk about principles.
Yes.
Let's talk about what the principled decision, and fortunately, because my child is an adult, I could use this exact verbiage of, first of all, let's reverse the situation. If you're the other person in this situation,
always put them in the other person's shoes.
How would you hope you would respond?
Yeah.
To which my kid was like, yeah, I know, Mom, I know how I would hope. And then we talked about what are core values that we hold, right? So values that we hold would be, man, we are honest, loyal, integral people. So when I commit to you, that's my word. Right. That's my integrity. Yes. So it actually, at this point, doesn't matter what you've done.
Yeah.
And how you've behaved. Yes. It matters what I've committed to and what I've said I will do, because that's my integrity.
Right.
Right.
And it's teaching them about honor and respect. It's like, it doesn't matter if they deserve honor and respect. You still honor and respect them because that is part of who you are.
Yeah.
And the character that, we try to teach our kids. Yeah. Because when, like us ourselves as parents, when our kids do something that we want to react, we are responsible for our own actions, our own feelings, our own emotions. And if we lose our cool because something happened to our kids, or maybe our kids did something that we're like, I can't believe it. When we lose our temper or whatever, and we want to lash out and react, it becomes about us and our reaction instead of the child's behavior or the person's behavior.
Well, yeah. And true confessions of a principle. I think every parent would appreciate this, that I do understand that. Look at this. It's so warm in here. I'm like getting red. Sorry.
It down. I'll be right
like
back.
Michelle put us in a sweat box. I just looked at my face and it's like getting slowly redder and redder. Anyway.
I don't know.
Okay,
it's like, it off. I turned it off.
Holy
it's
smokes.
Off.
Anyway.
Sorry.
True confessions of a principal. Honestly, we've had nights at home where my kids are trying to get help on their homework. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I don't actually get what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And the reality is rather than put responsibility on my child to say, hey, if you're not understanding what you need to do, what can you do tomorrow? Like that's have you emailed your teacher? Have you talked to your teacher? But as a parent, so often, and I'm guilty of this, your response was like, well, what in the world was the teacher thinking? Like, why would they do that? And blah, 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 right?
Yeah, and you're not helping the situation. But yeah, we've all, it's like, okay, just back up.
No, because now we've just justified something for...
Instead of giving our kids tools to be successful, let's give you the tools to really try to figure this out, where to go to, and not make it about the teacher.
Yeah, I love the saying, and I'm going to forget who actually said this: prepare your child for the path, not the path for your child.
Yeah.
And so often when you're reaching in trying to fix the teacher, the friend, the this, the that, the other thing, you're
not helping them.
We're not. And it's really interesting because we're communicating unintentionally to our child. And I remember one of my kids in middle school actually was getting bullied, and they would come to me. And now in my position, I very easily could have jumped in and fixed the situation. But I knew, and it happened to be my son, I knew if I were fixing the situation for him, I was communicating unintentionally to him that I didn't believe he was capable or man enough to handle the situation.
Yeah.
If I just bypassed him. So I think there, obviously, and guys, we're not saying don't ever intervene for your child.
No, because we do need to
there are
be
times,
their advocate. Yes.
Exactly. But they always understand is we are preparing our kids every situation. When you're at home, they're struggling on homework, you're frustrated, you're right there preparing your kids for life. Not just about getting that one homework assignment done. You're teaching them how to think well about the world. And so being able to go, hey, you're struggling with this. You don't have the answer on this. What can you do to resource yourself?
I mean, I know parents or kids who've said, my mom did my homework for me because she wanted me to get a good grade. I'm like, okay, well, you know, I understand you're wanting her to get a good grade or whatever, but
Rochelle used to do that all the time, and I used to have to tell her, "You got to stop. You got to stop,
no,
Rochelle.
I know
you're Rochelle. I know your handwriting. You got to cut this."
Seriously?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, my kids are smarter than me, but
I'm just kidding.
No, so. But the problem is you're enabling them you're not helping them.
No.
And then later on in life, they're expecting people to do.
And as a principal, if you can take, and I know this is like super hard, take your focus off the grade.
Yes.
And put your focus on the learning.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I'd be honest to tell you, I've told all my kids, if you're failing a class, and you're giving your best and you're actually learning.
Yeah. You're learning. And that's your best.
That's what's important to me.
Exactly.
A grade is not the thing that defines you.
No.
So it really is, but it all boils down to principles. What principles are you trying to instill in your child? I tried and still continue to try, instill a passion for learning and curiosity. You know, so our focus very much in our home has never been on grades. I've had a child with straight A's in my home, and I've had a child with not straight A's.
Me too.
Know?
Yep.
And the reality is with either one of them, the focus was never about the grades.
And I think too, to help kids is to ask questions, because a lot of times when you're stuck and they're stuck, start getting their mind thinking about it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a subject in school, whether it's a situation with a friend, whether it's whatever. Ask good questions and get them to start answering, because a lot of times they will figure out answers themselves by you asking questions, and then they'll start thinking. And it's like, my husband was awesome with that. He just had a way of asking really good questions, and so my kids would be thinking outside the box, and they were thinking for themselves instead of us telling them what to think. We were teaching them how to think, which is huge.
And how to resource when they're like here's what we've always told our kids is the answer is always there. And I don't know is never
exactly
the right answer.
It's not an answer.
Right? I will find out.
Yes.
I can look here. Are appropriate answers, but I don't know. It's never.
And
the
I
right
love
answer.
my daughter Ashley will tell that to Jackson if he says I don't know. She'll say Jackson, and he'll be 4, but he's old enough to understand, and she'll say Jackson, that is not an answer. Right. And she makes him stop to think about his behavior, what he did, and she's so good about asking him, and so he thinks, and she'll ask him again, and he'll say I don't know, and she'll ask him again, and so it's
sometimes
really
we
good.
should have Jackson on the show.
We should.
Jackson's my favorite.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah,
he'd be staring at himself, and
I know, but he'd probably be more entertaining.
He would. He's very entertaining. Yeah.
So I mean, our like. Honestly, if you're feeling your emotions arise and your kids are feeling their emotion arise,
it doesn't do well.
Whatever you can do to take a deep breath and ask. As a parent, I've come to ask myself the question of what principle am I trying to instill with this? Because understand, you're not with your kids all the time. And so like if you, on this situation, you make it okay for your kid not to be loyal, to be less than honest,
you have to be consistent,
to give less than their best. If you're like, that's okay, we don't even care, just get it done.
Yeah.
What you're doing is you're inadvertently communicating to them an acceptable standard for his life.
Yeah.
And the reality is we want to always we're teaching you principles that not just in this situation, but in the next situation, you're going to apply it.
Absolutely.
And so often kids take, this is acceptable here,
but over here it's different.
Over here it's different.
No.
That's
good.
Yeah. I have so many stories about this, but I won't share them.
No.
I feel like I really outed myself. I'm not going to lie, on the last episode, if you didn't watch our last episode, I did get a private Instagram or private message from my mom.
Oh, about the dead deer legs?
Wait, we're not going to talk about it again.
Sorry.
I was just going to make you do the work to go.
Sorry.
No.
Not about that.
But I did get in trouble. It was about that, but I did get a private message from my mommy on that. What? I'm like, I'm sorry,
the things our moms don't know.
Yeah, I know. I know.
See, I could tell stories on me because, well, maybe I shouldn't, but because my mom.
Your mom's not online.
No, she's not.
But I do have her number.
But my kids.
I have your mama's number. Yeah. Your sweet mama's number.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, it's pretty basic and simple today, but honestly, life-changing from the time your kids are little all the way through, teaching them, how are you preparing your child when your kid gets stuff thrown at them that is tough or hard, right? And sometimes it's not fair. I mean, that's like
life is not fair.
Like that is the reality. Is sometimes something's happened in their world that isn't fair, and as a parent, we often want to go. So, a great example of this is my child, especially when they were younger, did not get the playtime in sports. This is a really big one.
Oh, I know. Oh, yeah.
And one of my kids, in particular, when they were younger, was like, "That's not fair. I should have got more playtime. I should have blah, blah, blah." And I looked at that child and said, I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. If you really want that playtime, what can you do when you're not at practice to earn your coach's thought that you should have had more playtime? Yes. I think a lot of times where parents error is going to the coach and saying, my kid didn't get the playtime.
Instead of making your
guys
child,
don't do that. Like that doesn't serve your child well.
Make your kids work for it.
It positions them with this entitled, I showed up,
so I should play.
So
more.
I deserve this playtime, when in reality, you prepare them well for life to say, what can you do to get the playtime you're wanting? Because there are things you can do.
Right. Are you sitting at home playing video games? Are you watching TV? What are you doing to make yourself better? If that is your goal, what are you doing to reach that goal? What habits are you, and just really getting to think and write them down. Write down what you need to do.
Yeah, but it really is those principles. And if you can, a few things we would say about this is obviously consider, are you reactive parenting or are you parenting out of principle? Because parenting out of principle, you step back, you pull your emotions from the situation and you say, how would my child respond to this in another situation? Right. Yeah. My child had made a commitment to something that they no longer wanted to keep, and called me. I heard about the situation, and quite frankly, every part of me as a mama was like, no joke.
Yeah. But it's a commitment. It's your
that
word.
Was our conversation.
Your word.
Yep. That was our conversation. This is about your integrity.
Yes.
It's
you
not
say you're going to do something
about anybody else.
It.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that understanding.
Don't be your child's rescuer all the time.
Because that's the second thing is how do you then empower your child to go create the solution for themselves? If we would look at ourselves as that child's guide for future, right? And so how do I help my child go in and be an advocate for themselves?
Have a voice.
How do I help my child go to their teacher or their coach? And I've done this many times with my kids. Like, even though I'm a principal of the school, I don't know that I've ever gone to a teacher on behalf of my child to try to get a teacher to change something.
And you always want to make sure you're telling your kids, go talk to them, have a voice. And what's the worst that can happen?
Well, and the best phrase you can teach anyone, this is my personal opinion, is, can you help me understand? Mm-hmm. So with my coach, with my teacher,
your employer,
with my friends, with my employer is, I want more playtime. Can you help me understand what things I can work on to get more playtime? Yeah. I didn't like the grade I got on the test.
How can I improve?
Can you help me understand where I need to work? Yep. Life-changing for your child because you've empowered them.
People love the coaches, the teachers, the employers. They love it when you are hungry, when you want to learn, when you want to grow, and they're like, "Oh, I will tell you."
When you teach your child that, you are positioning your child to gain favor from man.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly. That's like, you want your child to be a highly favored child.
Yep.
And I don't know any of us who don't want our kid to get favor.
Right. Yeah.
The way you do that is teach them this level of work ethic, humility.
And we have to emulate
and
it. We
honor.
have to model that.
Right.
Yes.
I may not understand what this teacher just gave me as a grade. I may not understand what this kid just did to me. But teaching your child how to go with humility and honor.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably, and I personally use the can you help me understand?
Yeah.
I use it in my marriage.
Yeah.
I use it with my kids when my kids are, not having good days and we're not connecting. I'm like, hey, can you help me understand what's behind this
and
right now?
Will.
They do.
They will.
They do. People at their core do want to be understood.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So anyway, that's our
tips for today.
That's our tips for today. Yeah. I censored myself a little bit today. I actually had a few stories to talk about, but I decided against them so I wouldn't have to apologize to my mom.
Oh, your mom. That's honoring. I know.
I'm honoring. No,
now she's going to ask you. She's going to.
The next message is what were the stories? And this
Who do I need to apologize
here's what I say, Mom. You will never know. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Oh, take it and run. Yeah. No, but by the grace of God, I do think that's what helps me at my job, though, is that I was a pretty spirited kid who didn't fall into the boxes. And so I feel like when I see them,
you get it. Yeah.
I get them. And I personally know there's hope for you too. So there is hope for you.
There is. And your children. There's hope for your children for sure.
Hey guys, we are here to add value. We're here. Hopefully this has been helpful. If this has been helpful for you in any way, shape, or form, would you do us a favor? Share it with your friends. Feel free to encourage your friends to follow us. Ask questions. We do this once a week, Wednesday at noon every week. We're right here, whether you're here or not.
We're here.
We're here because we like hanging out together. But our hope is to always add value to your world. So, honestly, if there's something in parenting that you are struggling with it, not that we know all the answers, but we'll certainly do our best to at least start a dialogue about it and get that going. All right. Love you. Have a fantastic Wednesday.
And rest of the week.
Stay warm. It's really cold here. Not in my office. It's 100 degrees in my office, but have a great day, guys.